Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to the P38k, and yeah, now. And welcome to American teams. Yep, that's right. Welcome to mid-tier USA. So, American teams are back to being the way they were, but let's move on. I had some good fun in the P38k eventually. I did need to learn how to fly it appropriately, and there's a few rules with this plane that I'll go over in a bit. And after we show a little bit of the P38k, I'm going to show you an awesome replay sent to me by Viski, so stay tuned for that. The first rule of P38k is climb, 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 young lad. And we climbed as hard as we could, but we still could barely catch up to that Heinkel 177. Then as soon as he starts to dive, the Greif's engines are so powerful and his airframe so sturdy that there's no chance we're going to catch him. So we're getting shot up here, time to turn away and look for different targets. It's too bad I actually had a mission to take down bombers. We'll complete that one later, don't worry about it. So I just picked up this aircraft during the summer sale, and I already owned most of the packs that were in the bundle, so I actually got it for a decent price for the P47, the P38, and what's the other one? Oh yeah, the Mustang. And the Mustang, I've got to say, at its battle rating even, is really underperforming. I feel like it just doesn't have the energy retention that it should. It feels heavy, but it doesn't retain its energy like a heavy single-engine aircraft. So there's that. Now, we got jumped by a BF-109, and he has a little bit more energy than us. We actually had to go back to base to repair after getting hit quite hard by that Greif. And while we were tailing him on his way back to his own base, and as our team had been wiped out, surprising no one from that start, what would you expect? But here we're using the flaps, we're turning a bit with this 109, trying to get on his tail and reverse things, as it were. Now the P-38, not the best defensive flying aircraft, but the flaps are actually rather strong and the engines have a lot of push. So if you can get into an energy fight situation with the enemy, you have a decent chance at coming out on top if you can avoid getting shredded by their guns. With the great power of cannons and the large profile that the P-38 presents, it can be something of a challenge, and the K doesn't handle quite as well as the L when it comes to high-speed maneuvers, but during this energy fighting, it really comes in nicely, and we're on his tail. I couldn't believe it. We just flew a BF-109. He's running. He's got lots of teammates to back him up, and he's heading right back for base. So we're gonna try and chase him down. But already, I just have this great feeling of accomplishment. As I said, just picked up this aircraft, and it does fly a bit differently than some of my old reliables, like the XP55 and the P47. But it's a joy to fly, especially once I started picking up on the strategies. And at this battle rating, you really need to employ good tactics as well, because if you're not in the best position, you will pay for that quite rapidly. And a few good hits with the 50 cals, but they have received something of a nerf, bringing them down to what one might call historical levels. And we get a good crit on him. He almost plows into the ground at that point. We see a dot coming for us, pulling up, and I can't decide whether to finish this guy off or deal with the threat that's coming in, and I decide to focus on him. And you know what? I feel like that was the wrong decision, as my P-38 just got the high speed upgrade. But we get the kill, and that was pretty satisfying. So we'll see how I can do once I work the rust out of my strategy a little. Okay, here we are in a more different battle, and look at the beauty of this setting, just gorgeous. And already things have turned out differently for us. We climbed aggressively, and that Greif was coming right for us. He's coming right for us with his smoke on, and the last thing you want to do is head on a P-38 with its death beams of death. So we managed to take him down immediately, which is always satisfying, and that gives us the bomber kill we needed for our mission for the day, so that's nice. And now we have a nice altitude. Nice. I need to stop saying that, but just look at how pretty this scenery is. It's really gorgeous. It makes you want to mix up some fruity drink and just lay back and enjoy that beautiful sunset. Now, however, we're going to be occupied with putting ourselves into a position to be successful here. So we're observing the enemy, trying to decide if we should come in aggressively or continue to climb a bit, but we are already at high altitude, and I've noticed that the P-38 the K, has a fairly good dive speed. Again, this is, once again, I gotta tell you, even more, this is a vehicle I'm really not familiar with. I just started taking it out, but I've really enjoyed it. Even though American teams, especially at this tier, can be frustrating, because this is often the first branch that a lot of pilots go through, and they just show those noobish tendencies a bit more than what you see in, say, the German tech tree. But be that as it may, and look at this beautiful camouflage. Found this one on live.wrthunder. Look it up yourself, P38k, and you'll find it right away. Gorgeous skin, nicely done, handcrafted with love and care. And I can't remember the name of the author right now, so sorry about that. But we managed to avoid the head-on with that enemy. Was that a Ta or a Focke-Wulf variant? One of those. And at this point, there's a lot of red here at high altitude, so we're picking up our speed, deciding whether or not we want to tail that Ta or, well, rip our plane to pieces. Apparently here at high altitude the Mach number is lower, so as we approach the sound barrier, the plane doesn't really enjoy that as the different aerodynamics cause the wings to buffet. But it's neat that they put in a sound effect for approaching your rip speed. I find that quite helpful and also immersive, so that's really cool. Again, look at that gorgeous scenery, and the clouds though. I mean, come on, did you copy the Minecraft skybox? I mean, come on, Gaijin, you're so good at making beautiful stuff. Let's get those pretty clouds back into the game. You used to have really pretty clouds. What happened? Pixelated mashed potatoes. But be that as it may, we're once again enjoying being at high altitude, and this is sort of not the action-packed gameplay that you signed up for, I know, but it is the spirit of flying the P-38k. When you're in a 38, you need to be at high altitude, preferably above the entire enemy team. You do have good acceleration at low altitude, but you'll quickly find yourself outmatched and outflown by Focke-Wulfs and Tas that you'll see quite often in this aircraft, so it's advisable that you keep that altitude high. And you know, sometimes that means you climb and you enjoy the scenery and you look for an opportunity. And here I'm looking down at that furball of enemy fighters, and I'm thinking hopefully one of them is going to zoom climb and stall so I can take him down. So let's fast forward things just a bit. Alright, we've made our way to the enemy, and we've lost quite a bit of altitude here, and the plane really does pick up speed in a dive, even with the engines turned down. And now we have 3 enemies close to each other, and there's what we were hoping for. Is it my birthday? Can we get the guns on target? Come on, you stay right there, and we take him down. What a satisfying kill. Lovely to see the enemy get baited hard like that. Always helpful to take down one of them. Now it's 2 on 2, and this is a lot more in my favor. I have a decent amount of energy advantage on these two, but they have the defensive flying capability The roll rate on the P38 is not great, as you could imagine, and on the K it's even less competitive than the L because you don't get the boosters. So we have to be very careful about how we engage this Ta, even at low altitude. You see that we did overshoot him there, and we don't quite have the elevator authority or the roll rate to protect ourselves in an overshoot situation. So we were lucky to get away there with our lives, and this is where things get a bit dicey because he's going to be trying to drain my energy, and then at low speed he can outfly me, and he's able to defensive fly quite handily with his good roll rate and his decent elevator. So things are going to be not so easy for us as we progress. Now there is another enemy in the area as well as another ally, so we're going to be doing the old bait and switch. Here the Ta's definitely he definitely has a reason to be afraid of me, but I'm also putting pressure on the BF-109, bopping between targets, and now my teammates on the tail of the Ta, who was focusing on me, and I can turn around and deal with that BF-109. Very nicely done bait and switch here, and the Ta now is continuing to target my ally, so we've traded tails again, and this is what I find really exciting. When you get into these late game matches in the allied teams and we take down the Ta, and our ally is dealing with the BF-109 that was on our tail, and he takes him down. Nicely done, trading tails there. And as I was saying, it's always a pleasure to get into these American matches with other experienced players. And I'm not the best in the sky, but I've been here for a while, and it's really, really refreshing to team up with someone that knows how to back you up like that. That was just a really pleasurable encounter. And I picked up 3 kills in this match, which is a lot better than I normally get at this point in the P38k. But, well, enough about that. Let's talk about Viski. So here we are with Viski's replay that he sent in to me, and he called this one When the Steel Club is Just Right. So here he is in one of the best light tanks in the game. Fight me. Seriously, the M24 Chaffee is a great light tank at its battle rating. But, well, he's going to pick up a kill on... I'll let you see. He's about to get one. So he's pulling up here, sees the biter through the wall, B1 turret, get it, biter, and he takes a strong bite out of that guy, and even without detonating the armor-piercing round, he manages to take out all of the crew. Now he's on fire. Things aren't going to end well for him, but this match really picks up when Viski gets into the sky. So let's take a look at that. And the aircraft Viski's chosen to respawn into needs no introduction, ladies and gentlemen, the A6M2 Zero. If you're not familiar with this plane in mixed battles, Tank RB, I highly suggest you give it a whirl. At battle rating that it sits at, it's absolutely dominant in the skies, and it can provide a certain amount of support to ground troops, especially since there's a lot of lightly armored / open top vehicles at this battle rating, especially in the German tree. And then there's that Russian, what's it, the ZUT-37 or something like that, I can't remember what it's called, the little tiny little Tonka truck with a cannon strapped to the top that's open top. It's totally adorable. So Viski finds his first target, and again in Tank RB there are no markers for aircraft, so we've turned them off in the replay. Looked like a yak, I think, early yak, and he takes him down handily with the 20 mils. Drops the bombs, very close drop to that enemy Stug, but no sauce. Again, the Japanese bombs that you can get on the Zero are very lightweight, and they're basically paper mache with hurtful words written in them. So you really do have to get quite a direct hit to even kill a lightly armored vehicle. However, Viski is managing to make himself quite useful, and I like the veteran decal he has. Now he's washing the barrel with another Soviet plane. Looks like I really can't tell the difference between a lag and a yak and a. I mean, all these early Russian monoplane fighters, they really look the same. So he takes him down nicely with some good hits from the 20 millimeters. And he's been alternating between using the machine guns when he's not sure he's going to get a hit, and then popping on the 20s when he's closer to his target. Great strategy, and especially with the improved punch of cannons in general. The Japanese fighters like the Zero have really seen an improvement. It starts taking a little bit of hits, so he turns aggressively, almost crashing to the ground, being very aware of the great handling of his fighter. Turns onto his tail and sees, what is that? What is that in the sun? Another Soviet whatever it's called. So he is performing nicely against these enemies here, using the great handling. It just, when you fly the Zero, it is beautiful in the sky. It dances through the sky. Other aircraft that are not the Zero, they're just not the Zero. This thing is a showman of the skies. It really does feel like a ballet when you're flying this thing defensively, and you can switch between aggressive and defensive playstyles quite rapidly. He sees that looks like the German biplane coming in, the Heinkel whatever it is, and head on with this Soviet aircraft, takes him down handily with a pilot snipe. No worries, probably with the machine guns on that one, but very nicely done. Kind of surprised that the enemy wasn't opening up on him, and the biplane splashes into the water, giving Viski 5 air kills at this point. He gets targeted by an enemy AA on the ground as another aircraft zooms around. Was that an ally? And he takes down the AA truck with some concentrated fire from his guns, pulls in a very aggressive loop here. Personally, I would have climbed a bit more, but this is Viski's playstyle. The man is very aggressive. He's rushing P as hard as he can against these enemy ground targets. Pulls a tight loop here to come in for a second pass on the AA, but it gets taken down, and a Buffalo almost clips his wing. Allied teams, right? American flyers. But at this point, the Americans fly very aggressively. There's that cute little Soviet SPG, and it's already gone. GG, RIP, Comrade. That was really, really bad accent. Anyway, popping a little bit of flaps here to tighten his turning circle even more over the impressive amount it already has, and he shreds another, looks like a Sonderkraftfahrzeug 6/2, and I don't know if he clipped his wing there on the ground or got shot, but he gets taken down. Viski flying very aggressively here, and it does pay off. Look at that, 5 air kills and almost as many ground kills at this point, and he is going to pick up a few more to get 7 ground kills and finish the match. GG Viski, very well played. Keep sending in those replays, love to see him on the channel. Viski, you are a good player of this game. You ought to make videos. I'd like to see what you can do. But I know that not everybody can make a video, so I love doing this replay thing. I was happy to include a replay into this video. I really wanted to talk about the P38k. I've been having a lot of fun in the aircraft, and it's one of those ones that really pushes my abilities as a pilot. And there are some frustrating things. American teams can be frustrating when you get 4 bombers in your team and 2 ground attackers, so you have like 3 or 4 fighters against an entire German team of Focke-Wulf 190s and Bf 109Gs. Things can get a little dicey, but you know what? You take them as they come. And when you're on the back foot, when you have to play defensively, and when you're pretty much guaranteed to be outnumbered, that can also be a chance for you to grow your skills.